Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for presenting here. Thank you for attending this webinar. Actually, we are going to discuss about the steps of designing any project, any innovation project. So I will give light on it. Please stay with us. So basically, when we are going to innovate something, we are going to design something in a new basis. Then we have to go for the designing process. We have to follow some important steps, which is very necessary for designing properly innovative project. In the previous webinar, we have discussed about what is innovation, how to get an idea and implement it for the benefit of our daily life uses. So here we are going to discuss about what are the process which actually we need to follow to design the innovative project which we want to make. Importance of engineering designing process. So what are the importance why we need to design a project? What are the necessity? So these are the main motto is to design the project is basically for the industrial implementation and with using proper resource and and making it a economic product, a very low cost product which you are trying to innovate. It may be used for any design like a building project like whole robot components, project engineering notebook and marketing presentation. Actually the design helps the student maintain the some objective things which actually they need to keep in mind respectively for designing the ideas they have. And it's also help identifying the problem which they trying to find or which they are trying to working on. So I'd like to discuss some main points which is very important for designing a project or the process design. First of all, I would like to discuss about what is design, and then I would like to discuss what is the engineering designing process, and I will give you show you some example and that will help you to make it clear what tools we need to use or we have available to us for designing the project. Okay, so what is design? Basically, design is about creating from and function. It's achieving the objective within a given constraint. So if you have a problem statement and if you want to work on it, then you need to focus on the idea of implementation. So for implementation, you can visualize the thing, you can imagine what you want to implement, but that cannot be a complete that cannot be imagination, cannot be a visualization, cannot be a complete workshop. Okay, so for that we need to make up a prototype of this idea. So for that we have to design the thing accordingly. When we are going to design the thing, first of all we need to focus on the problems we may face during the design or during the implementation of our idea, and we have to work on this idea and work on this problem, and we have to remove this problem by designing this project properly. So if you want to design a pen, so you need to focus on what are the problems may come during writing. So you need to grab a pen, right? For writing something on your notebook, you need to grab the pen properly. So there should be a frictional attachment with your fingers and the surface of the pen. Okay, so like this, some important notes you have to keep in mind, and you have to write in a black and white form so that you can work on it in a focused way. Okay, so for that, design comes and design helps to execute the problem. Okay, so basically some steps are there to design a project. Firstly, I would like to discuss about the imagination, which I have already told that what you are visualizing on implementation the idea is very important. Then you have to plan accordingly uh, with the respect to your visualization or imagination. So after the planning, you need to create a prototype. Okay, you need to create a prototype, and you may face some problems during making a prototype. Then you have to remove those problems. So this process is improving process. Okay, you need to improve the project idea. After the improvement, you need to ask some viewers, you need to gather some feedback from your surroundings, surrounded people or expert, that what are the problem they are facing for using your idea or using your innovation. Okay, so what are the mirror steps you need to solve during you need to solve a problem? What are the mirror steps required actually? Okay, first of all, you have to define the problem which you have, which you wants to work on. Okay, then you have to design the thing conceptually. Okay, and maybe it in pen on paper or maybe it in a software form, but you have to make a design in a conceptual form. Then after synthesizing this conceptual design, you have to evaluate the primary design. It is the third step, and this is very important step, where you are going to design a primary object which actually or most of the portion actually of the design actually completed in this portion. And after evaluating the primary design, you have to come into a design decision. Then you have to show what are the detailed parts in your design. After the design completion, then you can go for the production and the testing. Okay, now I would like to focus on the functional and non-functional requirement for doing a design. Okay, now what are the functional requirements there? First of all, some functional requirement needs to be in your design, like support giving load. Okay, you have to give your support on the giving load which you actually going to apply on your project or on your project work or project model. Okay, then you have to grasp a given size, how much size will be in your innovative project or in your project idea. Okay, then you have to reach a given distance and move with a given speed, so that you can complete the project design within the time span. So these are the functional areas you need to keep in mind. Okay, and the non-functional area: size, weight and color, how much power is consumed in your project or in your innovative ideas, and how much reliable is the product which you have innovate. So these are the very key points you need to keep in mind during design the product. Okay, now conceptual design, which I have already discussed, and I'd like to focus on this particular area, the conceptual design. Okay, now during the conceptual design, you need to establish some specification. Okay, design specification, which is very, very important. After that, you have to generate the alternatives. How much alternatives you can keep, I mean variation. Maybe you may see some gearbox working on in different speeds, like it helps to move the wheel in different speed. What are the performance parameter here in your innovative idea? What are the revised objective and constraint? What are the function list and brainstorm result which you have got during making this project? And you have to be very creative on this work. Okay, And the primary design, when you are going to design the product, first of all you have to go for primary design section. So maybe you can go for CAD drawing, maybe you can go for model photos, okay. You may go for simulation and proof of concept information. Our computer model like CAD, AutoCAD, or CATIA V5, V6. So the SolidWorks, 3D SolidWorks. So these are the very important software I will discuss later on, which actually help in designing primarily, okay. So primary design is very important part where you actually working on and you actually made the implement the idea in a prototype form, okay. Now select the optimal design based on the findings from the previous stage, what you have got, what you have implemented, and optimizing the result. You need to have come to a decision whether it is better or whether you can work or you can work in a better way. So for a better technical solution, you may not take the cut due to the difference between the design objective and the constraint, okay. Now detailed design. So for refining and optimizing the choice which you have made in primary design, you need to go into a detail, okay. Architecture specific parts, articulate the specific parts and the dimension. Then you go for fabricating the prototype, okay. That maybe with a glue, with thermocol, or some paper cutting, some sticks, or the things very easily available to you, okay. Go for the prototype, and if you give a better result in your prototype, then you can go for the industrial production, okay. Some software tool actually very useful to mechanical project like SolidWorks, HSM Works, and computer based training. So these are very applicable software for making a mechanical project, mechanical design, for 3D mechanical project like 3D model. SolidWorks is very useful to you, okay. Now I would like to show you a model actually we have already prepared in our college. This is a dual side shaper machine, which is a third year project. For making this project, we have to go for the primary design sector. Actually, I have discussed here. So I will show you a CAD view, a 3D view of this model, which actually we have prepared. So you can see here the model view of made in AutoCAD software 2007. So this is a model part where you can see that it is a frame, okay. It's a steel frame,